The air in the screening room was tense before the lights even dimmed. It wasn't just another sci-fi pilot we were about to watch. It was the first alien story made for television. For decades, the Xenomorph has stalked the shadows of cinema screens, lurking in air ducts and under flashing warning lights. Now, with Alien Earth, the nightmare is stepping into your living room. This August 12, Hulu, FX, and Disney Plus internationally will unleash the franchise's first ever TV series with a 2-episode premiere. We've seen the entire first season ahead of release, and here's the spoiler-free truth. Alien Earth is more than a continuation. It's a rebirth. After the credits rolled, we had the rare chance to speak with the man who's guiding the Xenomorph into this new era, Noah Hawley. You might know him from Fargo or Legion, but here he's wearing multiple hats: creator, showrunner, writer for every episode, and director for 2. Sitting alongside him was executive producer David W Zucker, the terror raised by wolves, whose calm confidence suggested he'd been living with this story for years. When we asked Hawley about the parade of Hummers that arrive on Earth alongside the Xenomorph, he leaned forward, eyes sharp. They're all born out of some anxiety that I or other humans have around parasitic life, about insects, he began. His hands moved as though sculpting an invisible shape in the air. Like with the Xenomorph, which is 4 monsters in one, I asked myself, all right, what happens when it reproduces? What does it eat? Over the series, you discover the answers in ways meant to mirror the original thrill. That feeling when a facehugger became a chestburster and you thought, where does it end?
Hawley didn't sit down with a checklist of new monsters to invent. Instead, he crafted creatures that each served a purpose in the story. Among them is one you're not likely to forget: the eyeball-like Ocellus. Without spoiling the details, it's safe to say even veteran Alien fans will squirm at what unfolds. The show leans into the grotesque, but never just for shock value. There's always intent, whether it's an alien's feeding habit, its hunting strategy, or the quiet dread it instills in the crew of the Maginot.
Hawley didn't sit down with a checklist of new monsters to invent. Instead, he crafted creatures that each served a purpose in the story. Among them is one you're not likely to forget: the eyeball-like Ocellus. Without spoiling the details, it's safe to say even veteran Alien fans will squirm at what unfolds. The show leans into the grotesque, but never just for shock value. There's always intent, whether it's an alien's feeding habit, its hunting strategy, or the quiet dread it instills in the crew of the Maginot. One of the show's triumphs is its cast. Watching the first season, you get the sense that every role, from lead to background, has been filled with precision. Zucker revealed that casting was entirely Noah's vision, except for a direct conversation with Tim Oliphant. Everything else was audition-based. For me, casting is instinctual, Hawley explained. I don't picture actors when I'm writing because the characters need to be the characters. Then I'll see someone in a movie or a tape comes in, and I know they fill the space in my head. But the process wasn't easy. Some episodes required staffing up a whole ship's crew. Others involved finding 5 actors beyond Sidney Chandler who could play children in adult bodies. The international casting net they cast paid off, delivering a roster of actors that brought global flavor and authenticity to the world of Alien Earth. While much of the show takes place on Earth, the USCSS Maginot plays a central role, a vessel that's familiar yet distinctly its own. In a bold, creative move, Hawley rejected the sleek, high-tech look of Prometheus and Alien Covenant, returning instead to the cassette futurism aesthetic that made the original films timeless. The Maginot, we learn, has been drifting through the void for decades. The show begins in 2120, 2 years before Ripley's doomed journey on the Nostromo. It's a different class of vessel, Hawley explained. The Nostromo is basically a tugboat or freighter towing ore across the galaxy. The Maginot is a science vessel, but built on the bones of a similar ship. Why reinvent the mess hall? Make it standard. That way, you feel the authenticity and the echo of the first film. A reminder that this show is in direct conversation with it. For long-time fans, those echoes will feel like ghosts. The mess hall is warmly lit, the panels and piping industrial, the chairs bolted to the floor, and yet every shadow holds the possibility of movement. What makes Alien Earth feel different from its cinematic predecessors is not just its pacing or its smaller screen, it's the intimacy. The fear isn't just in deep space anymore. It's here, where the familiar meets the alien, where our planet becomes the hunting ground. The premiere episodes set the stage, but the real terror builds slowly, layer upon layer as the season unfolds. The Xenomorph is still the star, but the supporting creatures, human tensions, and moral compromises make this a richer, more complex nightmare. Alien Earth premieres Tuesday, August 12th, with its first 2 episodes dropping on Hulu at 8 p.m. ET and airing on FX at 8 p.m. ET/PT. Disney Plus will stream it internationally starting August 13th. New episodes will arrive weekly every Tuesday. If the Alien films were your introduction to the Xenomorph, this series will feel like an old friend, the kind who knocks on your door in the middle of the night, dripping acid and asking to come in.